Good day and welcome to another trading video with Monaco Daniel. As always, in this video, I'll be doing the best I can to share my insights and thoughts on some important trading facts that you might find very useful. So, in today's video, I'll be talking about trend lines as well as momentum lines. Now, for those of you that have possibly been following me on my Telegram channel or anywhere, my Telegram channel is literally the only place where I do talk, uh, drop my setups. But for those of you that follow my trades online, you are going to find out that quite a lot of times I use the word trend line and momentum line interchangeably. Yeah, you find me using, in fact, I do use more of momentum lines rather than trend line. I almost never talk about trend lines, but almost on every trades or every trade setups that I look at, there's always some level of emphasis on momentum line. And I've had quite a lot of people ask me, what exactly is this momentum lines that I am always emphasizing on in my trade setups as well as in trading videos. Now, in this video, I'll try as much as I can to explain. I want to assume we all know what trend lines are. So I'll try as much as I can to explain momentum lines in relation with trend lines, the similarities between the both of them, as well as the difference between the both of them. But before I jump right into that, please do well to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as leave a comment below. I always make out time to go through every comment on every video that is posted on my channel, as well as give my replies to each of these comments. So, guys, that's it. Now, with that being said, I would take no more of your time and then just head straight into what we have for today. Momentum lines and trend lines. What are the difference? What are trend lines? I'm sure that we all know, or to a very logical extent, we understand that trend lines is usually this should I call it a vertical line that's that shows the direction of a trend. Trend lines in uptrends are drawn from higher lows to higher lows to higher lows. It connects between higher lows in an uptrend, whereas it connects between um, lower highs in a downtrend. So it connects tops in a downtrend, it connects bottoms of an uptrend. It's as simple as that. I don't think there's more to what a trend line is than just this. Now, trend line is something that is that a lot of trading concepts have embraced because it shows the strength of a trend. It shows you how strong a trend is, if a trend is still valid or not. But personally, I don't put a lot of emphasis on trend lines simply because you could have a trend line that is broken and then still have an uptrend that is valid. So let me stop this here and do something like this. Okay. So let's say we have our trend line connecting from this point up to this point. Okay. Yeah, let's say we have a trend line that is connecting all 3 points like this. Now, it is possible for prices to come all the way down here, breaking this trend line. In fact, all the way to this exact point we have down here. And then this should still be a valid uptrend. Yeah. So in an uptrend remains valid for as long as the low of that trend has not yet been broken, has not yet been flipped. An uptrend remain valid. So for retail traders who base their trading decisions from lines like these are basically just mere lines that anyone can literally just draw on their charts. For me, that is how I see trend lines. They are mere lines that anyone can just draw them up on your chart. The market is not going to respect, the market is not going to keep going down after a trend line have been broken because you've drawn a trend line. Trend lines um, alone shouldn't be a basis for entering or getting out of a trade. Trend lines basically just shows the strength of a trend. That is how, at least in my opinion, that is how I look at it. Now, meanwhile, on the other hand, momentum lines are quite similar to trend lines, if not literally the same, depending on the time frame you are approaching it from, except that momentum lines shows the strength of an impulse. Now, this is an uptrend. We have an impulse, a correction, impulse, a correction, impulse, a correction, and then all the way up here until back down until this low got broken. Now, momentum lines basically shows the strength of every impulse. Yeah. So trend line connects between the lows of an uptrend. Momentum lines connect between the lows of an impulse. Um, let's say like this. I'm not going to be doing um too many examples. I'm basically just going to be using this as the only examples because I'm trying as much as I can for this video not to be too long. I want to keep it as short and simple as possible. So this is a momentum line while this is a trend line. You can see that this shows the direction of the overall trend, while this shows the strength of this impulse. Now, momentum line can help you actually, let's say we are in a bullish trend and then prices is just going up and up and up, and then you are anticipating a correction. Momentum line can be a very decent way to get into that corrective move. Yeah. I don't just the same way with trend line, I don't just jump into a trade because a trend line has been broken. The same way I don't jump into a trade because a momentum line has been broken. Most times I want to look at the flip zone along the break of the momentum line. Yeah. If all other conditions are met, because as a trader, you have to have more like a checklist, a confluencing checklist. That if A happens, then B is is how I'm going to react. If B happens, C is how I'm going to react. Now, this is basically the difference between a trend line and a momentum line. Like I did say from the start of this video, I was going to be pointing out the similarities as well as the differences between trend lines and momentum lines, between trend lines and momentum lines. Now, difference is that trend line shows the strength of a trend, momentum line shows the strength of an impulse. Uh, its similarity is that momentum lines in most cases are usually trend lines in smaller time frames. Yeah. So I'm just going to take this out of my charts, and then I'll come to, this is the 4 hours chart for Bitcoin against the US dollar. And this is, for me, this is the same on every market. I basically just trade Bitcoin and gold. So most of my videos, I like to just make them from this market I trade. Yeah, but I'm going to be coming to, let me change the style of this. Yep. Okay. I'm going to be coming to the 30-minute charts. Now, let's see what we have here on the 30-minute chart. Now, on the 30-minute chart, what we have here is a bullish trend. A bullish trend of higher lows and higher highs, higher lows and higher highs, higher lows and higher highs, and then this trend line connecting between the points of this bullish trend. So it depends on what time frames you want to be looking at. A trend line on a 4-hour chart could most likely be a momentum line on a weekly chart. The same way a trend line on a 5 a momentum line on a 5-minute chart could most likely be a trend line on a 1-minute chart. It depends on what time frame you are looking at it from. Trend line and momentum line are all but the same thing. depending on what time frame you want to approach it. But I love to look more at momentum lines rather than trend lines, because momentum lines shows me sign of weakness of an impulse. I use momentum line to to look for this weakness. I trade an institutional concept. So want to look at where we have the supply and demands and other blocks and whatever it is you want to call it. But I love to see markets building up a decent momentum into my zone. That is it. I love to see markets building a decent momentum into my zone before I get a trade. So momentum line is, if it could be a very good way to tell when an impulse is beginning to lose its strength. Let's say you just want to short this correction move. This is an uptrend, yes. Prices rally up into, let's say, an order block, a supply zone or a supply order block up here, and then you are looking to sell. Yeah, a break in momentum line is going to give you some level of relief that this impulse in this uptrend as is beginning to lose its steam, it's beginning to lose its what am I going to call it? But it's beginning to lose its steam, it's beginning to show signs of weakness. Yeah. So depending on your concept of trading as well as your style of trading, momentum line can be something that would be very great if you incorporate it into your style or your approach of trading. So guys, I wanted to make this video very quick, and I hope it is quick enough. It is the same thing, momentum line, it is the same in bullish trend as it is in bearish trend. Yeah. So guys, this is where I call it a day. um Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, and most importantly, trade safely.